Optimove, the leader in positionless marketing, frees marketing teams from the limitations of fixed roles, boosting campaign efficiency by 88%. Its positionless marketing platform delivers 3 transformative powers: data power for real-time customer insights, creative power for instant asset creation, and optimization power for self-optimizing campaigns. With Optimove, you can do anything and be everything. Go to optimove.com/totalretail to get your first month free when buying Optimove's positionless marketing platform.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, the editor-in-chief of Total Retail, and I'm pleased to be joined on today's episode by KK, who is the Senior Vice President, Head of E-commerce and Digital at Kendra Scott. KK and I will be discussing how that brand is enhancing its digital shopping experience, particularly through its partnership with Bolt. So really looking forward to the conversation, and I want to thank you for joining me on today's show, KK.
Thanks, Joe. Excited to be here.
So to get us started, I'd love for you to talk to the audience about the digital transformation strategy that is underway at Kendra Scott, and in particular, how it's leading to a reimagined checkout experience for your shoppers.
Absolutely. So a little bit about me. So I'm KK. I head up the e-commerce digital at Kendra Scott. For anyone less familiar with Kendra Scott, we are a purpose-led lifestyle jewelry brand rooted in family, fashion, and philanthropy. Over the past few years, I've been leading our digital transformation, which is focused on elevating the online experience while staying true to what makes our brand so loved. So I joined in January 2023. In my 100 days, we kicked off a 3-year strategy, which is centered on accelerating growth through mobile, personalization, and experiential commerce. These 3 pillars designed to meet the customer where she is, tailor every interaction, and create a more immersive brand experience. And one of our goals is also to bring unreasonable hospitality like we offer in store. And then out of all these pillars, like today, like we're going to, I'm perhaps going to discuss more around the mobile pillar, because part of the mobile first approach, we created a dedicated pod focused on payments modernization and checkout innovation. And our first major step was rolling out a single paid checkout in 2023, which simplified the entire flow and boosted mobile conversion. We also launched a new buy now, pay later partner, Afterpay, along with their express checkout, where we saw tremendous success. But all along, we knew there was still more friction to remove, given the high percentage of guest checkout. So in 2024, we partnered with Bolt to bring single-click checkout to life. This wasn't just about making the process faster. It was about creating an experience that's intuitive, on brand, and built around loyalty. Checkout is often the last step in the journey, but we see it as a critical step to reinforce trust and build a long-term relationship with our customers. We then decided to partner with Bold to take that ambition of ours to life.
Thank you for providing that context for the audience and telling us a little bit about Kendra Scott as well as your role at the organization. You've mentioned the partnership with Bolt, and single-click checkout is kind of really this enhancement in reducing friction for the shopping experience for Kendra Scott as customers. Tell us a little bit about, as you went through that process, I'm sure Bolt might not have been the only solution that you were looking at. Why Bolt? Why did it emerge as a key partner in this digital transformation?
Sure. When we started looking for a single-click solution, Bolt stood out for multiple reasons. First, they offered this speed and simplicity we needed, but without compromising the brand feel, which was a must. for us. But what really made the difference was their identity-based login. We had a high percentage of guest checkouts, and that made it hard to build that long-term relationship with the users. So Bolt helped us to address that. Their 80 million US network allows us to recognize customers even if they don't create an account and make their experience feel more familiar and personalized. So again, I think Bolt wasn't just improving checkout performance, they were helping us deepen our connection with every shopper.
I'm going to kind of take you back. As you were going through the process, you ultimately settled on Bolt as the partner. What was that implementation process like? Can you talk us through that a little bit? And then maybe secondarily, what were some of the key lessons that you learned as your team integrated Bolt into Kendra Scott's e-commerce experience?
Absolutely. Again, I think as you might know, Joe, like any change in checkout is a big lift. There are a lot of moving parts. I'm always thankful to our tech team for making complex implementations simple. The onboarding process with Bolt was very smooth. They helped us navigate the technical complexity and different dependencies in different workflows. And that really worked with our overall stack. So their team also partners closely with ours, whether it's like product, like UX, engineering, like everyone was aligned. So that collaboration made a huge difference and ensured that we launched something that was both high performing, brand right from day one. Like it was our first time also rolling out a solution like this. So of course there was a learning curve in the beginning, but Bolt was right there with us every step of the way.
Let's talk a little bit about the Kendra Scott customer, particularly your digital shoppers. What are the UX features of this, redesigned digital experience that you're providing them that are really resonating most with them? And love to know a little bit more about that, and then potentially, why you believe some of these new features are really critical to their experience.
The biggest win I would say has been simplicity. Like with Bolt, customers can check out without creating an account, I was mentioning, which is huge, especially on mobile. 80% of our traffic is on mobile. And the 80 million shopper network, which Bolt has for the US market, so that lets us recognize returning users instantly, which speeds up the flow. It creates a sense of trust. Um, it's frictionless and personalized at the same time. In addition, again, I think if you look at Kendra Scott, like we are a multi-generational brand. That's why I think every customer is in their own journey. Like somebody might already have an account with us, somebody might prefer a guest checkout, somebody already has a Bolt account. So again, I think we wanted to simplify that overall experience. And when you do that, you start seeing real business impact. So that tells us we're not just removing the barriers, we are building a better overall experience for the users.
A quick follow-up there, KK. To your point about many are return visitors, jewelry being a considered purchase, right? So they might, land on the whether they're mobile traffic, desktop traffic, they might be coming back to that site multiple times before they're thinking about making a purchase. It's kind of that consideration phase. And building that trust that you talked about, maybe tell us a little bit about the behavior that you see from the typical Kendra Scott digital customer. Are they converting? Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe more converting on kind of that first site visit. What are the behaviors that you're seeing?
Yeah. So I can share some business results, what we have seen so far. Since we went live in May 2024, the overall results have been really strong. So At this moment, Bolt recognizes up to 40% of the sessions where an email is entered. So that means you have all those anonymous users who are coming to the website who started this checkout journey as a guest, but then we can recognize now 40% of those users, which is huge. Now, we also looked into when people log in using their Bolt account, they convert about 10% higher than the regular guest shoppers. Their average order value goes $10 higher as well. So again, I think these are meaningful metrics, but even more importantly, they reflect progress towards our bigger goal, creating a more personalized, loyalty driven experience that customers come back to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that that does fit nicely. At the outset of our conversation, you talked about personalization being kind of one of those 3 core pillars along with,
Sure.
accelerating mobile growth and that kind of experiential retail, that you've put into place. So the core benefits that you're seeing, obviously higher conversion rate, higher average order value, you're also seeing kind of that lifetime value, that loyalty piece, part of the, benefit of working with Bold as well?
So I think that we're in the early stages of measuring that, but the initial indication, like when people are buying more units, if you simplify the experience, I think that's a right step in that journey. And typically, like because this program is live for a year, so we don't have those like measurements in place in terms of lifetime value because it's a long term horizon you need to look at. But again, I think all these are great indication that this is a benefit which is resonating with our customers, and they're giving us the indication that hey, like we want to convert more, we want to spend more because you are giving us this seamless checkout experience.
And to your point, if you're able to identify them, even those that have not created an account, you can continue the relationship, right? You
Exactly.
can continue to market them going forward. So while it's still early stages and that lifetime value piece might not be accurately reflected in the data yet, just because it's a shorter sample size, one would assume that you'll see, because of that relationship that you're able to create, that you're get that repeat customer, they continue to
Yes.
purchase again and again from Kendra Scott.
Absolutely.
So this is one, significant piece of the digital transformation that's taking place at Kendra Scott, but I'm sure there's more. And you've kind of laid this solid foundation. Um, Maybe looking ahead a little bit, KK, what are some of the other things that are on the roadmap for Kendra Scott as it thinks about continuing to optimize the digital shopping experience of its customers?
Yeah, what I can share, there's a lot we are excited about. One bigger ambition we have is to bring personalization across every touch point in the website, including checkout flows. So we don't want customers to convert. We want them to feel like the experience is tailored to them at every step on the way. We are also exploring like both like new AI powered personalization tools. It aligns really well with where we are headed as a brand. And also on the payment side, we are modernizing the experience further by offering more flexibility, things like buy now, pay later, digital wallets. The goal is to meet the customer wherever she is, however she wants to pay, and however she wants to check out. So in closing, I'll just say a few things. At Kendra Scott, everything we do comes back to three pillars, which I mentioned at the beginning: family, fashion, and philanthropy. Even as we lean into AI and digital innovation, the human connection remains at the heart of our experience. Technology should support the relationship, not replace it. That's been our mindset from day one, and it's what keeps our digital transformation grounded in what matters most.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's kind of the holistic effect as well. The better the digital experience is for the shopper, the more trust they build in the brand. So then you might also see that reflected in, obviously, Kendra Scott has physical stores as well. So there's that kind of personal in-store experience too that may see a benefit from more shoppers digitally interacting with the brand, having a better experience in that channel. Do you expect to kind of see that incremental lift in the retail store business as well?
Yeah, again, I think we are a omni-channel brand, and if I share our overarching vision is to foster deeper connection and offer the most personalized omni-channel experience. In our 3-year strategy, we have different building blocks towards that, right? Like one of the pillar, like we didn't cover today, is we call it experiential commerce, and part of that, like we also elevate our overall brand storytelling, philanthropy storytelling, including enhancing our omni-channel services. So again, I think we are always working on building that connective tissue for different channels so that the customers can travel from one channel to another seamlessly. And all those digital initiatives, whether it's a checkout innovation or it's a payments modernization, those adds up in that overall experience, right? And then the more seamless that connectivity becomes between the channels, I think what we start seeing is that lifetime value of those customers are much higher, like when they are shopping across multiple channels. And again, I think this is one of those building block in that vision of offering the most personalized omnichannel experience.
Well, you've certainly put yourself in the right track here, KK, and the partnership that you've talked about with Bolt and how that is helping to enhance the digital shopping experience for Kendra Scott customers is a worthwhile endeavor and a story to tell to our audience. So I want to thank you again. KK is the Senior Vice President of Head of E-commerce and Digital at Kendra Scott. For joining us on this episode of Total Retail Talks. Thank you, KK.
It was great talking to you, Joe. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Optimove, the leader in positionless marketing, empowers marketers to instantly deliver real-time personalization. Boosting campaign efficiency by 88%, it allows marketers to do anything and be everything. Go to optimove.com/totalretail to get your first month free when buying Optimove's positionless marketing platform.